My name's Adam Monaco and I'm the Financial Controller for Hi-Tech Oils. With our national capacity, we can now service Australian companies nationwide. Of late, we have now expanded into the New Zealand market. Here at Hi-Tech Oils, we receive premium base oils and premium additive packs. Together, with our highly trained staff, we manufacture over 500 premium quality products. Hi-Tech Oils is Australian made and Australian owned.
To some, it's just a hunk of metal. A convenience made to get you from point A to point B. Basic transportation, that's all. So who cares about horsepower, torque, compression ratios, and chrome Kragers? Yeah, we do too. Summit Racing Equipment, the world's speed shop. SummitRacing.com.
On today's show, we head over to Western Australia and to the Perth Motorplex for the penultimate round of the ANDRA Drag Racing Series. It's the 46th Westernationals, featuring Top Door Slammer, Top Alcohol, Top Fuel Motorcycle and the Summit Racing Equipment Sportsman Series. Then we wind the clock back to last September and head to the Newcastle foreshore in the Hunter Valley of New South Wales as we relive all the action from Part 2 of the Newcastle City Supermoto. This is Speedweek.
Well, welcome. Here we are back in the West for one of the larger race events. We're here for the 46th Westernationals at the Motorplex. And of course, I'm Jason Bean. Joining me in commentary is Aaron Hambridge. Aaron, welcome back to the beautiful sunny West.
Thanks, Jace. Great to be back here 4 weeks after the Golden States, and everybody's back here again. We'll see what we can produce this weekend.
Well, Aaron, we're about to get underway with eliminations for Top Alcohol. But before we do, let's take a look at our Hi-Tech Oils leaderboard. After, of course, our last round out at Calder Park, we have got John Canurley sitting at the top of the tree. Then followed by Brian Lockman, Jason Maggs, Wayne Talbot, Craig Russo and Cameron Ambisi rounding out the top six. Of course, qualifying happened last night here at Perth Motorplex. And let's take a quick look at our qualifying order. Leading the way is West Aussie Adam Marchant. He was number one qualifier with a 5.67. Then John Canurley was number 2 with a 5.71 with a 7. And Craig Lasby was third with a 5.71 with an 8 out of our top 8. We caught up with Adam Marchant down in the pits a little earlier.
We missed a session, which will made a big difference. Everyone will went faster in the last session, but I'm happy to be number 1. Well, it all depends on what everyone else does. It's luck of the draw. I'll just go out there and do what I do, and whatever happens, happens.
So as the scene is set, ready for Top Alcohol to come our way with round 1, we are going to see a great matchup to kick off. Of course, Aaron Deary will be taking on Steve Del Caro. And Aaron Hambridge, of course, these are the types of cars that you've spent a lot of time in.
Yeah, no, I got a real passion for this class, and I spent years running. Your classic matchup here, alcohol funny car versus alcohol dragster. Aaron Deary's been running that dragster probably about 7 or 8 years now, so he knows that car very well. He's had a few gaps in time where he's taken some time away from driving and he's tuned other cars, but usually every time he comes out, he's a front runner and that car runs really hard.
Deary streaks away with it, goes 572, 378 kilometres per hour. Let's take a look at our Garmin Verb replay now. Del Caro looked like he just started to pull right there, Aaron.
Yeah, Del Caro was way too aggressive with that car. That thing was smoking the tyres, went into tyre shake as soon as he left the start line. It was always going to end up in tragedy, that one, and yeah, he's crossed the centre line and lost himself to racing.
So now we see Russell Taylor about to take on Craig Glaspie. Of course, Russell Taylor with this beautiful Welsh Pool welding and fabrication funny car. And for Veeam, it is going to be Craig Glaspie, former fastest top alcohol funny car pilot in the world. Now, of course, in the hands of John Cannulli, that honour. But for the moment, Taylor to right of screen, Glaspie to the left of screen. Not a lot of difference in the reaction. And it will once again be Glaspie in that left-hand lane, streaks away, 549, 419, and 419 kilometres an hour. In fact, that 549, Aaron, that is a good, solid performance.
Yeah, that's a real good start for Glaspie. He'll be really happy with that. That car's really fast, and it's really fast in Perth generally. Anytime he runs here, that car's almost in the 40s every single time he takes it down a racetrack. They've got a really good combination there.
Well, Glaspie qualified number 3. Now, John Cannulli in the Nova LED funny car about to come our way. And, of course, as we mentioned, he is now the fastest guy on the planet in a top alcohol funny car. Has run 5:35s. He's going to be taking on Ben Moynard. So, Moynard with the JPP altered. Now, the class difference here, we've got a short wheelbase car taking on the funny car. How much difference is there between these two?
Well, underneath the body, these two cars are almost identical.
Great light from Moynard. He gets out with an 058. Problems mid-run, though. Cannulli will streak away to take the win. He goes 575, 347 kilometres per hour.
Yeah, so as we just touched on it before, underneath the body, these two cars are almost identical. Short wheelbase, 125 inches, the maximum limit for a funny car and altered. If you look there, John Cannulli actually shut that car off really early, and that thing still rolled through for a 570, so it'll be interesting to see what that car can run on the next round.
Well, as we mentioned, John Cannulli, of course, he will go through to the next round, having taken the win. So Adam Marchant, our number 1 qualifier, he will take on the number 8 qualifier in Scott McLean. Well, Scott McLean qualified 8th, as we mentioned, but was a no-show, and Adam Marchant will just get to drive this thing through and click the win line automatically.
Yeah, Adam's just taking the green light there. He's taking the safe route. He'll tow his car back in one piece. He's ready for the next round.
Well, here we go. Let's have a look at the semi-final matchup. Marchant versus Deary, Dragster versus Dragster. John Cannulli takes on Craig Glaspie, a pair of funny cars. That's coming up in our semi-finals for top alcohol.
12 months ago at the grand final here, in the finals I actually ran a PB which I went 5:38. It was my first 5:30 pass ever. Just before the finish line, the transmission that we were using at the time exploded a front pack, and it blew the windscreen out of the car, the roof hatch out, part of the roof. It then swung around, still attached to the race car diff, at 270 odd mile an hour and broke my leg in a couple of places. So I got the car stopped and it was all good. It's still broken now, but I couldn't handle it. I couldn't leave the car in the shed anymore. I just wanted to get out and see one, if I actually wanted to still drive one of these cars, because it was a horrific accident. Last night, had a little bit of a meltdown in the first round of qualifying. The second one, the track wasn't quite there and I rattled it. Had to pedal it a couple of times, but went 570. Felt pretty good about it. So came out today and had a new mindset. Really wanted to get in the car, and my crew chief, Greg Gower, just said, we'll put a tune-up in it, you drive it to the best of your ability. Any hesitations, just get off it. And that's what everybody has to remember with these cars. As dangerous and as fast as they are, you can always just pull the pin and shut it down. So did that, felt good. As soon as the burnout happened, you say, I'm at home and I want to go and give it a run.
Time now for a little bit of our favourite door slammer action with Top Door Slammer coming up next here at the Perth Motorplex. So here we see Paul Cannulli just being strapped in, ready to run in the eliminations. Of course, a massive, massive field here. 16 cars all trying to qualify to get into the 8-car field. But first, let's have a look at the points after the Golden States just a month ago. John Zappia leads and has certainly extended his lead. Mark Balleri, Grant O'Rourke, Ben Bray, Sam Fennick, Victor Bray, they all round out our feed of Door Slammer. Now, as I said, huge field, 16 cars, and we are all trying to squeeze into an 8-car field. A lot of big names didn't make it, including Victor Bray, Mark Balleri, Marty Dack, and Daniel Gregorini. Well, here's the 8 that did make it. John Zappia, number 1 qualifier with a 574. Grant O'Rourke, number 2 with a 586. Scotty McLean, 587. Ben Bray, 594. And Paul Canuli, they round out the top 5. And of course, we caught up with John Zappia as he edges closer to his 10th title.
Kwinana went well last night, and first one it shook a lot, and the track was pretty hot. Conditions were hot, but for the second one we stepped it up, and it went to the right a little bit, but I stayed on it, punched second gear, and made it all the way through. And yeah, it was surprised when they said it was a 574. Well, that's the plan, but you know we've got to get through round 1, and unfortunately I've got Calvin Lyle first round, and Calvin's the other car that I'm tuning, so we've just put a tune up in that, thinking that he hadn't qualified, and now he's qualified and he's racing against me. So I said, well, are you happy with what we're doing to the car? That, you know, I'm not setting you up to lose. I want his car to go fast as well. So we're hoping for side-by-side 5-second passes, and whoever gets there first continues on.
Well, here we go with round 1 of racing. We've got Paul Canuli up against the Queenslander, well, it's a pair of Queenslanders, in fact, Ben Bray and Paul Canuli. Number 4 and number 5 qualified, and of course, always going to be a great matchup, Aaron, between these two.
Yeah, no, these two cars are both very proven, both very fast. Paul's car's got that unusual combination in the left lane there with the Root supercharger on it. Definitely a proven combination, but just not as popular as the screw blower you see in nearly every car out here.
Well, we got Bluey up front, the crew chief for Paul Canuli, and across in the other lane, of course, we've got Ben Bray, that beautiful Gulf Western Chevrolet Corvette. Away, and it is the advantage to Canuli. Canuli starts to streak ahead with the Plymouth. He'll take the win there. Goes through 596, 362 kilometres, marginally putting away Ben Bray's 592.
Yeah, Paul's won there on a whole shot. His reaction time of the tree won in that race. Ben ran a little bit quicker, but Paul just killed him on the tree. So Paul might have shut that car off a little bit early as well. That's why the speed's slightly down, but great run for the team.
Moving now into round 2, we've got Scotty McLean, of course, was runner-up at the Golden States with this beautiful Holden Monaro to take on Frank Mamone out of Sydney. Of course, brand new car, the Hemi Barracuda. We're seeing number 3 take on number 6 in the qualifying order. Once again, advantage to Mamone there over McLean. Mamone drives it all the way to the stripe. 592 beats a 592 with an 8. So Frank Mamone, he had the better reaction. But geez, Scotty McLean came home in the deep end.
Yeah, great run there by Frank. He's been away from the sport for a little while. They had a crash in that car a few years ago. They've rebuilt it. He's took his time coming back, and it's paid off. He's won his first round with a new with his car repaired at his first race. He'll be wrapped.
Sam Fennick now for the app shop with this beautiful 67 Camaro. About to take on Grant O'Rourke, our number 2 qualifier.
Just showing again how much of a family sport this is. Sam's brother Frank out the front of the car there, just bringing him in the stage. It's always great to see family members being part of their brothers, sons, mothers, race teams, helping them out. It's yeah, really great to see.
Of course, Grant O'Rourke's wife Debbie bringing him into stage there as well. Third pair here in Top Door Slammer, round 1. Big red light left by Grant O'Rourke on the tree. He'll hand the instant win to Fennick.
Yeah, Grant's rolled the beams there. He's the clutch is probably dragging him through. Sam's got the supercharger off there and the lights. I'll have a bit of work to do to fix that. But as far as I'm aware, that loss there by O'Rourke is going to leave it open for Zapp to take the championship if he can win the next round. If he can win this next round, he'll have enough points on top of the rest of the field. He'll wrap it up.
Well, excitement all over right there. We saw Sam Fennick's supercharger and injector had come loose through that run, and that red light as Aaron mentioned, will indeed hand this man right here his 10th consecutive championship. Unheard of. Nobody has ever done it in the sport of ANDRA drag racing before.
Yeah, it's not over yet. He still has to win this race. You know, as far as I'm aware, he's racing Lyle in the right lane now, which is a car he actually prepares.
Yeah, Kelvin Lyle in beside him, this beautiful 67 Mustang, the Shelby Mustang for direct mining and industrial. Well, Kyle Lyle's going to have to put on a real big one if he wants to take home the win over the man that is John Zapier. He won't do it now. John Zapier, 577, 413 kilometres per hour. And I think the team know that they've wrapped up the championship right there.
Another picture-perfect run here from John. This guy's he's like a robot. He does the same thing over and over again. That car's ran 570 lap after lap after lap for as long as I can remember, but had to steer the car a little bit there and bring it back, and typical of John, you know, this is one of the things that makes that car so fast is he can drive the car. It's not just about how good the car is, he's a great driver.
Well, let's have a look at our race ladder now, and we're going to see John Zapier take on Paul Canuli, and Sam Fennick will be taking on Sydney sider Frank Mamone.
Yeah, we've been going well. We had some issues in qualifying with one of the other engines, well, the only other engine, and we've put our older engine back in the car now, and that's, you know, it's performed well on that run there. So Brandon's looking at the tune-up side of things, and we'll see if we can't squeeze it a little harder for the next one.
Well, you know, Frank did his job the last round, 92 with a 1 though, and so that's the fastest we've been with this car here. So, you know, I really think the car next round we can go 88 or so. You know, we can squeeze a little more out. I think it's there. You know, we just need, it's of course a new car to him. We've only got, what, 3 races basically on it. Yeah. So, you know, Frank's getting familiar more with driving, and we're figuring the tune-up out. So I think 580 is next round, you'll see.
Coming up next, we have got the two-wheeled Warriors in Top Fuel Motorcycle. They're coming up. And of course, always heart and mouth stuff when they're on the track. We can see a couple of the riders getting ready to fire up and come out. But first, let's take a look at the championship points after their last round here at the Golden States. Damien Muscat leads on 216, followed by Mark Drew. Greg Durack back in third, and Benny Stevens makes his way into the Hi-Tech Oils leaderboard for the first time. Like the last event at the Golden States, Top Fuel Motorcycle is running back-to-back rounds, and they ran last night, which saw the B final between Greg Durack taking on Chris Porter. However, Porter suffered mechanical issues, which handed the win to Durack. In the A final, Damien Muscat took on Ben Stevens, and Muscat came out victorious, taking the win.
Yeah, look, we started the day not doing so well. A couple of 8-second passes. We had a couple of issues with the bike. Yeah, we sorted them out when we had to, run a 680 in the semi and a 665 to take the win in the final. We raced here 4 weeks ago at the Golden State Nationals and took the win on the Friday night, another double round event for us. And Saturday we had a few problems with the bike, didn't do so well. And some 8 years ago we raced here on a competition bike.
Last night, yeah, we were lucky enough to get through the field into the A final, which was really good. We went out there and we tried to change around a couple of things. We lost our tune-up last night, so you know, coming into the final, it's a little bit hard to sort of get through there with the win.
Well, Damien Muscat wrapped up and won the race last night. Can he do it again tonight? Well, before we get into eliminations, let's check out the qualifying from earlier this afternoon. For Top Fuel Motorcycle, we see that Damien Muscat was the #1 qualifier with a 6:58. Then it was Greg Durack, Ben Stevens, Wayne McGuinness, Les Holden, Chris Porter and Mark Drew rounding out the 7th. Here we go. Round 1, it's going to be that man, Damien Muscat, the guy that won last night, and he, of course, is our top qualifier. Went 6:59 in qualifying, and he's about to try and put down a solo. Uneven field. Great opportunity, Aaron, to check this bike out.
Yeah, 6:59, that's a great run there. That backs up exactly what he did in qualifying. He had almost 8 tenths over the entire field, so he's in a great spot to take out today's race as well.
Next pair up, Chris Porter taking on local boy Benny Stevens, of course the fastest amputee in the world. So Porter on screen just a moment ago. That's Benny Stevens right there, qualified third as we mentioned. Pair of nitro burning V-twin Harley Davidsons, and it's Porter that will streak away there, 670-325 kilometres on 2 wheels.
Beautiful run there by Chris, 670. That's a big improvement from qualifying. He killed it on the tree compared to Stevens. Stevens just left there, a little bit of sleep. 3.0 light, he gave 3/10 away right there, but no, Chris making a good run to get himself through to the next round.
Well, as we mentioned, these guys are indeed the two-wheeled warriors. When you're looking at the fact that they're running, 300 plus kilometres an hour on 2 wheels. Now, Mark Drew and Greg Durack about to go head-to-head. Durack on the Bravo Resources Kawasaki, and Mark Drew on that V-twin Harley-Davidson. Drew is a name that is synonymous with winning when it comes to Top Fuel motorcycle. Always been a very quick operator as well. We're away. Problems for Durack, and Drew will streak away to click the win light. 685, 321 kilometres per hour.
Yeah, another great run there by the Harley. Any 6-second pass on a Harley's awesome. This turbo combination in the right lane, though, it definitely has potential. It just needs to get sorted. He'll throw the good run out now and then, but he just seems to be plagued by a myriad of problems. So hopefully he gets on top of it and he can come back and show it at these Harley guys next time.
Great onboard vision there. Just shows you how, I guess, fierce the action is as it comes at you. Now, Les Holden for Air Conditioning City on another of these Nitro Harleys up against Wayne McGuinness for sealed marine windows. Reaction time, advantage to McGuinness on the HRP Nitro bike, and he will streak away to take the win. 741, 268 kilometres per hour for McGuinness. Beats Les Holden, 771.
740, definitely not a bad passer. He's really going to need to step it up next round. The 2 bikes on screen here, I think you'll find probably older combinations, smaller tyre, smaller engine, probably don't burn anywhere near as much fuel, but hey, they're out there, part of the class. Hopefully they both step it up and can mix it with the big boys.
Well, in the B final, we're going to see Drew versus McGuinness, and in the A final, we're going to see Damien Muscat taking on Chris Porter. Well, all the eliminations action is done, and we have got finals coming up on the other side of this break. Stay with us.
You want more time to do this, so you can get this. You provide the skill and sweat. Count on Summit Racing for the rest. We carry more parts than anyone else. You can reach us anytime, 24/7. And we ship around the world fast. Summit Racing Equipment, the world's speed shop. SummitRacing.com.
Welcome back to the Perth Motorplex here at Kwinana Beach in beautiful Western Australia. This is the 46th Westernationals. We are about to get into round 2, our semi-finals of Top Alcohol. And we're about to see the former world holder for Top Alcohol Funny Car taking on the current holder of the fastest and quickest funny cars on the planet.
Yeah, these two guys mixing in with Gary Phillips have been beaten up on that record for about the last 2 or 3 years. I think Craig was the first guy to really have a go at that record, and then John and Gary have jumped in there, and the 3 of them have just been pounding that record non-stop for the last 2 seasons.
Of course, Aaron, when we talk about world record, that includes beating the guys in the US as well.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got guys like Johnny Lindbergh and Frank Manzo and some really big names in the US, and hey, we're out there mixing with the best ones.
Craig Glaspie runs away with it, 581, beats a 692 from Canooly.
Yeah, almost identical reaction times. You know, Craig leaving there with the wheels up, shaking the tyres. He's had to pedal the car, so both cars off from their previous round. John's car gets out just as good as Craig's, but then it looks like it drops a cylinder for whatever reason, maybe an electrical problem, loses power, and Craig runs away with the race.
Well, we see there that the one of the chutes didn't come out fully, so obviously getting tangled up on the wheelie bars or the differential. But man, did you see on the Garmin Verb replay the shake in those tyres? It was absolutely huge. All right, Adam Marchant now to take on Aaron Deary, a pair of WA boys about to go head-to-head. And I'd imagine that they've sat beside each other on a few occasions now.
Yeah, they've raced each other plenty of times, and both these cars have been in the 550s before, so this will be really interesting to see who wins this.
Deary with the advantage on the whole shot. He'll drive it on through. He'll take the win as well. 574, 390 kilometres takes the win for Aaron Deary.
Yeah, 74 is not a bad run for Deary. He has been a lot faster than that. A few of the alcohol cars seem a bit off this weekend. A couple of the front-running guys have really stepped on it, but the rest of the field seem to be a couple of tenths back, but I'm sure Aaron will lean on it. He's got Glasby in the next round, who ran 540s in his first session, so he'll step on it and try and keep up.
As we have a look at our final coming up, it will be Aaron Deary to take on Craig Glaspie. So the funny car will take on the dragster in the 46th Westernationals. Top Door Slammer semi-finals about to come our way right now, and it's between Frank Mamone and Sam Fennick. Both guys are running out of New South Wales.
Yeah, both guys travelled a long way just to be here. Sam, listen, I've been calling him a newcomer in the class for a while, but he's not so much anymore. He's been at pretty much every round for the last 2 years. Frank, good to see him back again, and like I said, he'll be coming off a high just winning that first round at his first race back, so this will be a great matchup.
I mean, these guys have matched up side by side many, many, many times over, but in the Australian Pro Street Association, not in ANDRA Championship drag racing or in Top Door Slammer. So they're going to be comfortable running side by side. Wow, did you see Sam Fennick pick up the front wheels there on that launch? Mamone, nice and straight, runs it on through 591, 399 kilometres for the win, but there's problems for Fennick in the deep end.
Yeah, he gets his chutes out late. He did the right thing as far as you can when you're putting the car in the sand. He shut the engine off, that way when he hits the sand flies up, the engine doesn't suck it all in. Listen, that's a bad situation for Sam, but he's done it as perfectly as he could, and hopefully there won't be too much damage. There might be a little bit of body damage at the front, but he didn't go in that hard, so he should be okay.
Let's have a look at the Garmin Verb replay now and just see exactly how things transpired for the boys. Great run for Mamone, straight down the middle there, and we see Sam Fennick out of the right-hand side of the window, just streak on by. That's not the speed that you want to be doing in that part of the racetrack.
No, definitely not. I've had shoots come out quite late before, and it's a horrible feeling when you see that sand truck coming straight at you. But Sam doing an unreal job driving that car. You mentioned both these guys racing Pro Street before. They both had 10.5 cars, which, hey, they've got the same engine in them. They're just as light, but they've got a tiny little tyre, so they're out of control. And both guys showing the skill they've learnt there, running door slam.
We are at Kwinana Beach, but that's not the beach that Sam Fennick wanted to lay back on. All right, next pair about to come our way now. It's going to be John Zappia and Paul Canooly. Canooly, of course, just on screen a moment ago. That's on board with our 10th consecutive Top Door Slammer winner as far as consecutive years.
Yeah, Paul unable to show for this run. Looks like they couldn't get the car started.
Well, that is a shame. They've come all the way from Queensland and unable to start the car in the semi-finals here, but Zapp will run away with a 579.0.
Yeah, Zapp might need to make some adjustments to suspension there. The last two runs I've seen the car, it's left hard, but it's headed towards the centre line, towards the right-hand side of the racetrack.
Finals is going to see Frank Mamone from New South Wales take on the West Aussie John Zappia. We have got the first final, the B final, if you like, of our Top Fuel motorcycle about to come our way. Wayne McGuinness will take on Mark Drew. Drew went 680s in that first elimination, and we saw, I think, 740 on from McGuinness.
Yeah, coming in this run, Drew really has a leg up on McGuinness here, but it's only going to take one mistake and McGuinness will ride straight past him and take the win.
Well, Mark Drew, he's set, he's loaded, he's ready to roll. Wayne McGuinness gets the slap on the back. You can see him just tippy-toeing that bike into full stage. The Perth Harley-Davidson rider, he's good to go too. Candle is lit all the way for Mark Drew's 683, 330 kilometres per hour, beating McGuinness's 738.
Yeah, great run. If you notice, Drew in the second half of the racetrack really having to hang off the side of that bike to keep it somewhat in the middle of the racetrack. He was heading towards the centre line. He really swung off the side of that thing and pulled it away.
Well, wheels up action with our Garmin Verb replay. And it looks like McGuinness, in fact, held the front wheel up a long, long way out. All right, now the final, the A final. Chris Porter and Damien Muscat about to come our way. Muscat, of course, fresh off that win last night here at Perth Motorplex. We've got number 6 qualifier in Porter taking on our number 1 qualifier, Damien Muscat.
Yeah, Muscat have to be full of confidence here. He won last night. He ran 6:59 in the first round. But don't get me wrong, Porter ran 6:70 in the first round as well. So he's right there. He's been that fast before. We'll see if he can take it out.
Well, it'll be Porter, 669, 328 kilometres per hour. Looked like Muscat had a bit of a problem there as we go to the Garmin Verb replay once again. He had the front wheel in the air for pretty much 3/4 of the racetrack. And when the front wheel came down, Aaron, it looks like it could have potentially just washed away a little bit.
Yeah, Muscat had a bit tyre shake there, and as soon as he put that front wheel down, the bike got a little bit out of shape. He had to get on and off the throttle, and yeah, it allowed Porter to ride straight on by it.
Yeah, we've had a few good wins, being an Australian champion, you know, for 2016. But it's good to get a win up finally in West Australia here in Perth. Yesterday we had a lot of trouble. We torched an engine and a gearbox in the semi-finals. So the boys flogged all night, and here we are in the winners' circle, so it was worthwhile.
Well done to Sydney's Chris Porter for taking out tonight's round of Top Fuel Motorcycle. In terms of the championship standings, Damien Muscat is in the box seat heading into the grand final in Adelaide. He leads just 86 points ahead of former champion Mark Drew, with Greg Durack and Ben Stevens rounding out the top 4. Final of Top Alcohol coming our way right now with Aaron Deary and Craig Glaspie. Glaspie in the funny car, and of course, Aaron Deary in that dragster. Aaron, we've spoken about it so many times, of course, you being a former dragster driver. This is where it's all at. Some great Garmin Verb slow-mo action on replay right here. So the dragsters, obviously a little bit of a weight break difference, different engine sizes to the funny car.
Yeah, in America these two run in separate classes because they've got larger numbers, but here in Australia they slow the dragsters down to keep them competitive with the funny cars, and some might say they've slowed them down a little too much because at the moment the funny cars are really handing it to them. They have a weight break, they have less overdrive and smaller cubic inch engines, but obviously they're a lot more aerodynamic. It's been very competitive in the last probably 2 to 3 years, more so being dominated by the funny cars. But before that, with the dragsters, they were quite competitive. But some of these guys, I think, really need to step their game up a bit in the dragsters to keep up with the funny cars, or possibly the rules may have to change.
Well, Craig Glaspie, he's never won here at the Western Nationals. So he's going to be throwing everything at the local boy to try and do so. Reaction favours Deary, but man, it's Glaspie who drives away with it. 545, 416 kilometres per hour. Beats Aaron Deary's 560 at 393 kilometres.
Yeah, hat off to Glaspie, that's a killer run there, but I've got to take my hat off to Aaron Deary as well. I said he'd have to step it up, and he really had to go. He went from a 573, I think it was in the last session, or 74. He went 560 flat, and he went 024 on a tree. So he was having as good of a go as he could. Congratulations to Glaspie.
Oh, I just can't believe it. I'm actually, for me, I'm speechless. You know, we've been trying, and you know, I've had runners up to Gary Phillips, John Canoolis, like all the great guys of this sport, and you know, it's a really big shame to me that Gary Mosevich isn't around to see it. He was a long-time supporter of mine. His company still sponsors my car. I miss him every single day, and this is the event that I would be on the phone to him saying, Gazza, I did it, you know. I worked for him as a 14-year-old on his funny car, And every time I raced an event, he'd ring me on the Monday after and just wish me the best, or tell me what I did wrong, or criticise, or thank me, you know, whatever it may be. So I miss him a lot. Greg Gower, I just can't say enough about that guy. He has been my mentor, my best friend since I was 14. I've started my apprenticeship for him. And he just puts so many hours, you know. He's supposed to be in his semi-retirement. All he does is work on my alcohol car. So to Greg and Alpi Pro and Competition Fuel Systems, Veeam Gyros, Valvoline, Oztech Metals, all of the guys that helped me get where I am today with this car. My wife, Shelley, she just puts up with it. When we blew that gearbox up, you know, at the end of the year, and I'm crippled, and she's feeding me and wheeling me around the house, and all I kept saying is I just got to get that car going again. She never once whinged or put a restriction on, and just found the money to get it back together. So, I don't know what else to say. If I've missed anybody, I'm so sorry. But everybody that has been a part of this journey with us, I just say thank you very, very much.
It's a long overdue win for Craig Glaspie at his home event, and that has skyrocketed him into second place in the top alcohol standings with just one round remaining. He is only 69 points behind current leader John Cannulli, and you'd have to think that a trip to the grand final is very much on the cards. Top Door Slammer finals action now coming our way with John Zappia, the man on screen at the moment. He'll be taking on Frank Mamone. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this will be Frank's first ever Top Door Slammer final.
Yeah, no, absolutely. This is the first time for Frank. Listen, you'd have to pick Zapp in this, but if Frank can win this, he's going to become a giant killer overnight.
Well, that's right. I mean, we've spoken and we've seen so many times before the David and Goliath battles. I mean, way back with, you know, the early days from Wild Bunch through the progression through to the modern day Top Door Slammers. We have seen the giant killers, come from behind, and it would be awesome to see Frank Mamone take home the win here. But you're right, Aaron, it is going to be an absolute job ahead of him to try and beat John Zappia. I mean, it was our number one qualifier with, running into the 570s. Will he repeat that? Because brand new 10th title taken home right here tonight in earlier racing.
You can see there in Frank's lane, he's got what I consider one of the smartest guys in the country in drag racing, Stuart Rowland. Very, very switched on guy. He's tuned a lot of fast cars before. Just about everything he's involved in, including his own car many years ago. Super fast, very smart guy, very meticulous. See if he can tune the car up and beat up this run.
Well, Mamone had a go at him at the tree. It was very similar, an 061 to an 069. Zappia will take the win. 572, 403 kilometres an hour. But Mamone, he certainly wasn't letting Zapp just get off it nice and easily.
Nah, car looked a little bit loose in the first half of the racetrack, had huge wheel speed off the start line. Maybe a little too much, slowed the car down, but Zapp there missed the consistency. Actually, even stepping up from the last couple of sessions, 72. The guy's the king.
Well, Frank Mamone, he went 6.05, so he certainly had a good crack at it. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough. John Zappia taking the win.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. The team's helped us immensely all weekend and for years. The Fuchs Monaro performed perfectly in the 70s all weekend. I think we ran a 72 in that one. And it's just a great achievement to win 10 championships and to win the event so that we can really party, because every other time we win the championship and lose the last event, it's not as fun, you know. But when you win both, that's it's pretty cool. So we've got Adelaide grand finals to go yet, but we're going to be celebrating tonight.
Congratulations to John Zappia and his team taking out another ANDRA Gold Christmas tree and an unprecedented 10th consecutive Top Door Slammer Championship. The focus will now turn to Mark Balleri, Grant O'Rourke and Ben Bray as they battle it out for the minor placings at the grand final in Adelaide. Well, all of our Group 1 action is now completed, but when we return after the break, we're coming back with the finals from the Summit Racing Equipment Sportsman Series.
To some, it's just a hunk of metal. A convenience made to get you from point A to point B. Basic transportation, that's all. So who cares about horsepower, torque, compression ratios, and chrome Kraggers. Yeah, we do too. Summit Racing Equipment, the world's speed shop. SummitRacing.com.
Welcome back to the 46th Westernationals here at the Perth Motorplex. We've got Junior Dragster finals coming our way right now. And of course, after a huge field, 28 cars competing, we are now down to the final two. We've got Alana Cope and Madison Brown.
Yeah, with 28 cars, they don't take it easy on these young guys. It's tough out there. You look at the two cars at the front here, 807, 800. It's going to be almost a dead heat.
Well, we've got a pair of young ladies, I think, about to do battle. Of course, Alana Cope moving into that left-hand lane. She dials in 800, and Madison Brown dialing in with an 807 in the far lane. Red light, though, from Madison, an 057 negative to the 046 from Alana Cope. Cope takes the win, 800 on an 800. Congratulations to Alana Cope for taking out tonight's round. However, in the terms of the championship standings, Joel Burns still leads the way on a maximum 300 points. Jasmine Slammer sits in second on 280, 10 clear of Luke Versmeer in third. Cope's Westernationals win elevates her up into fourth on 240 points. Modified bike final now between Zoe Newhoff, and she's going to be taking on Bruce Jones, a pair of West Aussies.
You see plenty of girls in racing, but to be honest, I don't see too many girls on bikes, so really good to see a female out there making the final.
Now, Zoe Newhoff, she dials in this Kawasaki Z9 with a 956. Bruce Jones dials in 890 with his Suzuki. Bruce Jones just marginally takes the win, goes 898 on an 890. And of course, Zoe Newhoff goes 957 on a 956. Both bikes dialed in beautifully.
Yeah, Zoe actually had the better run there, close reaction time, but unfortunately she lost that on the start line on the tree.
We had a couple of finals last season. This is the first final I've got to this season. And to win the Westernationals, you can't beat it. You really can't. This is awesome.
Bruce Jones takes home the gold Christmas tree for modified bike, whilst Brian Finn and Gordon Crawford sit atop of the championship standings on the maximum 300 points. Matt Lyle and Gavin Don't remain in the championship contention in third and fourth respectively. Super Street final upon us after another big field. Mike Caridi in the VE Sport Wagon, the Beat the Heat Sport Wagon, taking on that lady on screen, Kirsty Rowe. So 11.35 the dial in for the Monaro of Rowe, and 11.31 for Caridi in the Sport Wagon.
Red light there from Caridi, automatically handing the win to Rowe. Beat the Heat team here, well represented, making both finals at the last two events, but unfortunately today, not taking home the Christmas tree.
Well, Kirsty Rowe, she will take the automatic win via the red light left by Caridi, but 11.40 and 11.35 just to check that dial in right out. And you're right, Aaron, Beat the Heat, of course, Krista Bruin. He was the winner in Super Street back at the Golden State. So Beat the Heat representing here this weekend.
I'd like to thank my team. They're awesome. Mum, Dad, Ashley, Nick, Thornley Automotives, Roll Purple Oils, and everyone else, Dal Signs, J&I Smash Repairs. So thank you. Thank you to Beat the Heat boys. They put up some tough competition. Everyone in Super Street is very tough to race, and so, yeah, thank you very much.
Kirsty Rowe's win tonight has pushed her up into championship contention for the Super Street crown, which is still being led by Chris Tatchell on 200 points. With up to 6 drivers fighting for the top prize, it's all set to go down to the wire in Adelaide. Our Super Sedan final is going to see Nick Panagopoulos take on Paul Down, the Monte Carlo of Panagopoulos, dialing in with a 916, and Down in the VP Commodore dialing in with an 852. So the orange Commodore just a tad slightly quicker across the quarter mile. killer pair of reactions. An 0.34 from down to an 0.45 of Panagopoulos. And across the stripe, it's going to be pulled down. He takes the win, 8.56 on an 8.52 for the win. And Nick Panagopoulos' Monte Carlo goes on through 9.13 on a 9.16, breaks out, runs too quick, and hands the win to pull down.
Yeah, great combination of reaction time and ET there by pull down. Congratulations.
It's been a long time and a lot of hard work, but yeah, today seemed to be my day, so I'm very pleased with it, yeah.
Despite not making tonight's final, John Kapiris still manages to hang on to his championship lead as the grand final in Adelaide fast approaches. Peter Zokas remains in second, with George Tipakidis in third, Danny Vigella in fourth, and Nick Panagopoulos elevates himself into fifth position. Well, top sportsman, you couldn't find two different cars from two totally different eras more so than this. Paul Russo in the Chevy Bel Air, the 57 Chev Bel Air, taking on Colin Davis in that beautiful Ford Probe.
Yeah, although there's about 40 years difference in body styles here, both cars are almost running identical ETs, 759 and 756. It's going to be a really close race.
So Russo, he's in the black car. Davis in the white Pro Stock style car. Love the name, Senile Racing. Oh, negative reds both sides of the tree there. Negative 026 for Russo in the 57. Negative 005 for Colin Davis. Davis will take the win. 7.56 on a 7.56.
Yeah, both guys trying really hard there, both going red. Unfortunately for Russo, he went red worse and handed Davis the win automatically.
Number 2 and 3 qualifier, fighting it out in the final right there.
Thank the track, thank ANDRA, and I thank all my crew and my wife and family and all the other racers. It's fantastic. The friendliness here is absolutely over the moon. It's really great, so thanks. I'll treasure this forever.
Well done to Colin Davis for taking home the top prize in Top Sportsman. But as we look at the leaderboard, thanks to High Tech Oils, the top 4 drivers in the standings are all sitting equal leaders on the maximum 300 points. This guarantees a fight for the championship crown at the grand final in Adelaide. Competition bike now, and we've got Daniel Nadolato taking on Phil Payton. Payton on the Suzuki GSXR 1000. And for Nadolato, an odd and unusual combination here, Aaron, a BMW.
Yeah, you don't see a whole lot of BMWs at drags, to be honest. Big European manufacturer, but just not represented at the drags all that often.
Well, Daniel Nadolato, he's got an index of a 937, Payton with an index of an 862. Reaction does favour Payton there. Across the stripe, it will be Phil Payton taking the win, 840 on an 862 index.
Yeah, Payton running 2/10 under his index there. Nadolato only going a 10th under and about a 10th behind on the start line, so just not a great combination there.
Well, we look at the Garmin Verb replay. We see that Phil Payton is a giant of a man on board that Suzuki GSXR. Congratulations, he takes the win tonight.
I really need to thank my team, Chris and my son Chris, my wife Vicky especially, Brett Gadina from Perth Motorsport, who gave me a ton of horsepower to work with and really helped me get this bike to where it is. This season's just been going great.
Phil Payton's win tonight catapults him to the top of the standings in competition bike. He leads on 145 points, 25 clear of last round winner Chris Chipchase. Ryan Learmonth, Trevor Harper and Daniel Nadolato all sit equal third on 80 points with thanks to High Tech Oils. Super stock final coming our way between Errol Quatermain and Alan Puglia. Now, interesting is these two guys faced off in the final against each other back at the Golden States just a month ago.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Quatermain took out that race, so this will be an interesting matchup, and I'm sure Puglia's ready to get back at him. And also two very different combinations here, turboed 6-cylinder versus naturally aspirated V8, very similar to Pro Stock engine.
Well, the roles have reversed this time around. Alan Puglia will take the win via the red light left on the tree by Errol Quatermain. 786 on a 743 index for Puglia, but it was all about that cherry at the bottom of the tree from the Turbo Ford.
Yeah, quite a few finals this weekend being decided this way. Not a great way to win a race, but hey, a win's a win. You'll take it any way you can.
Unbelievable. It's unbelievable, but without any of these here, I wouldn't be here. But it's been emotional. Yeah, lost my house and my cars, but it stops it up.
Congratulations to an emotional Alan Puglia for his win in Superstock tonight. In terms of the championship standings, Tom Dimitropoulos and Jamie Chasty look set to fight it out for the top prize in Adelaide, as they sit atop of the standings equal first, with Kim Fardella and Graham Sims still mathematically in contention. Modified Eliminator coming our way right now. Of course, back to Dial Your Own. We've got Mervyn Biggs in the Dragster taking on John Althusen in the Speedster.
Yeah, Mervyn with some issues there. He's pulled over to the side and doesn't look like he can get that car stopped. He doesn't seem either that or he's trying to get out of the way just so the race can continue, but he's got his gloves off already by the looks of it. He's got some troubles there.
Let's have a look at our Garmin Verve replay. You're right, I think, Aaron. You just can't pull it up. And I mean, the gloves were off way early, so maybe he had some kind of earlier issue. But looks like he's going to roll the Big Paw 460 all the way at the very bottom. And John Althusen will take the win via having a solo right here in the final of Modified. 760s at Island. What's he run on through with? 774.
It's amazing. I've had a few issues. I almost had the car ready to go back onto the track. I had an accident which put me in hospital for a few months, and I was out of the scene for a while. I've returned to drag racing. This is my second meeting back, and it's just all gone like clockwork. We've had our few issues, but it's fantastic to win another Gold Christmas tree.
As we take a look at the leaderboard for Modified Eliminator, thanks to High Tech Oils, Craig Baker still remains the leader on 250 points, with Jess Turner still second on 180, Leanne Braggs on 170, and Corey Dyson and Erin Healy sitting equal on 160 points. We stay with our Dial Your Own finals. It's Supercharged Outlaws time. Alan Mankoff taking on Chris Wendt.
Yeah, a lot of history in the left lane there. That car's been around for a very long time. Originally from Canberra, it's ran all through the Wild Bunch days, and here we are in WA, the other side of the country, and it's in the final.
Well, nowhere else in the world would you see an EH Holden Ute taking on a Dodge Viper, except here in ANDRA Drag Racing. Looks like Mankoff will get there. He goes 695, 276 kilometres per hour, although have a look at the bottom of the tree on the left-hand lane for Chris Wendt in that Viper, the Cherry. So the race was thrown away all right there on the start line.
Yeah, another final decided on the start line with that red light. Unfortunate way, but congratulations.
Yeah, it's great. It's awesome. I'd really thank all my crew and sponsors, Wellington Mechanical and Ericsson Builder. They've been a great help all through the years. It's been great.
The ever-popular EH Holden Ute has helped catapult Alan Mankoff into the championship contention for Supercharged Outlaws. It's currently being led by Justin Russell and Mark Hunt on the maximum 300 points, followed by Adam Murray, Doina Day and Mankoff. We now move to our competition eliminator final. Now, of course, we've seen the Dial Your Own finals. This is another of our indexing final. We're going to see Stuart Moresby in the XR8 Ute take on Craig Geddes in this Pro Star Dragster.
Yeah, Craig Geddes is going to be one of the most winningest cars in competition. The last few events, I think he's either won or run it up. He's that far ahead of everyone else in the championship at the moment. I don't think he can be beaten.
672 the index for Moresby, 740 for Geddes. Red light from Moresby though will hand Geddes yet another win. He runs on through 768 on a 740 index for the win.
Yeah, perfect run there for Geddes, but once again another red light deciding the final. After that race, I'm pretty sure he cannot be beaten for the rest of the championship now. I'd almost say he has to have that wrapped up.
Yeah, very pleased to add another tree to the collection. Very proud. Just terrific to come over here to the West and do so well. It's 2 meetings in a row, so it's well worth the effort and very pleased. Thanks.
And with tonight's win here at the Westernationals, Craig Geddes has wrapped up the championship with a round to spare. He has built up a big enough points gap over his opposition, which means he can't be beaten, regardless of what may happen at the grand final. Congratulations to Craig Geddes. And that brings the curtain down on the 46th edition of the Westernationals here at the Perth Motorplex. There's only one round to go this season. It's the Summit Racing Equipment Championship Grand Final for both Group 1 and Sportsman categories at Adelaide International Raceway. It's happening on March 31st and April 1st, and you can find out more information by visiting the ANDRA website. Thanks once again to Aaron Hambridge, and thank you as well for joining us at the Perth Motorplex. We'll see you in Adelaide for the grand final.
Coming up after the break, we look back on all the action and excitement of last year's Newcastle City Supermoto from the Newcastle foreshore.